Overnight, the Phoenix Suns shot up to be the title favorites when Kevin Durant was traded to them last week. But is it fair to say it's win or bust for the Phoenix Suns? Hey guys, Emmanuel here, and before I jump into this video, I just want to ask you guys to give me the HBO special, and that is the Help a Brother Out. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like underneath this video. I don't like long intros, so let's jump into this analysis of the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant decided to join the Phoenix Suns on the trade deadline, and I say decided because he did have a say in where he would land. And overnight, the Phoenix Suns shot up to be the title favorites. And on paper, the Phoenix Suns look like the league's worst nightmare. Remember, this is still practically the same team that went to the NBA Finals 2 years ago. The trio of Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker is as good as any big three in the NBA. But with that being said, what's the expectations for the Suns? The finals? I know. Kevin Durant hasn't even played a single game in a Phoenix Suns jersey yet, and yet here I am talking about NBA Finals. But someone has to, because it's important that we talk about it because of the implications that it would have on Chris Paul and Kevin Durant's legacies. Chris Paul in particular, because Chris Paul has been in the NBA for 18 years and has never won an NBA championship. Chris Paul has been in the NBA longer than some of my viewers have been alive. Now, he's come close to winning a championship, for instance, 2 years ago in 2021 when he went to the NBA Finals, but ultimately lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. And throughout the years, he's been on some really stellar teams that have given him a legitimate chance, a shot at winning the NBA Finals. Like in 2015 when he was on the Los Angeles Clippers that was coached by Doc Rivers. Ultimately, that team lost to the Golden State Warriors. That's when the Golden State Warriors was just on their rise, becoming a dynasty. But also in 2018, when he was teammates with James Harden. In 2018, the Houston Rockets featuring Chris Paul was statistically one of the best offensive NBA teams ever in a league. They were offensively better than the Golden State Warriors that year, and you have to remember the Golden State Warriors that year had Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and a pre-injured Klay Thompson on there, and the Houston Rockets still managed to be better than them. So Chris Paul has had his lion's share of really good teams that should have been able to win him a championship, but time and time again he's fallen short. So this team featuring Kevin Durant now might as well be his last shot, his last chance at winning a NBA championship, because you have to remember Chris Paul is 38. Chris Paul is the same age as LeBron James, and as impressive as that is to say, Chris Paul's probably going to be out of the league in the next 2 years. So this is it. And then there's Kevin Durant. Like Chris Paul, Kevin Durant has been in the league for a long time. And although he's won an NBA championship, his career history isn't the prettiest. The only 2 championships he has are because he made what some deem to be the weakest move ever made by an NBA player when he decided to leave the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2016 to join the Golden State Warriors team that was 73-9 that had previously beat him in the NBA playoffs. Remember, Kevin Durant was up 3-1 on that Golden State Warriors team. And he took the motto of if you can't beat him, join him. And when he did that, it put a stain on his legacy. He might have went to the NBA Finals, he might have won 2 NBA Finals, but he was carried to those 2 NBA Finals. And Kevin Durant might tell you otherwise. He might say, well, take a look at my Finals MVP. This proves I wasn't carried. But he was only in a position to win that Finals MVP because he got carried there. If he was as good as he says he is, he would have stayed in OKC and he would have won a championship with Russell Westbrook because they were good enough to do so. And because of that, the narrative around Kevin Durant is that he needs Stephen Curry to win a championship and not the other way around. Because Stephen Curry has proved to the world that he doesn't need Kevin Durant to win a championship. He won before Kevin and won after Kevin. Recently, last year, he cemented this fact when he won his first Finals MVP. And the second narrative around Kevin Durant is that he needs a super team to win. Kevin Durant has now been on 3 super teams. The Golden State Warriors, of which he left to go join Kyrie Irving, and added James Harden to make the best offensive big 3 I've ever seen in the league. And he left that team because it crumbled apart because of the nonsense that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were going through. Crumbled apart, and what does he do? He joins a super team of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. That is the best starting lineup in the NBA. And Kevin Durant joining the already stacked Phoenix Suns doesn't do anything to curb the notion that he needs a super team to win. So in my opinion, the pressure to win a championship this year is astronomical. And because of their past, I think it's safe and fair to say that it's championship or bust for the Phoenix Suns. Because could you imagine if they didn't win? What the implications would be if they didn't win. Chris Paul would have to retire without a championship. He would have spent 19 to 20 years in the NBA with nothing to show for. No NBA MVP, no NBA Finals. And Kevin Durant's legacy would be further tarnished. Because we would say, think of all the All-Stars Kevin Durant has played with and didn't manage to win an NBA title. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. It would further cement the notion that Kevin Durant needs Stephen Curry to win. It would be a who's your daddy situation. And we would look at Kevin Durant so differently. Because for the past decade, we've had to listen to the notion that Kevin Durant's in the same stratosphere as LeBron James. And if Kevin Durant fails to win a championship with this team, I think that's no longer the case. Because you have to think about, Kevin Durant has been swept. Last year he was swept. The year prior to that, he lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. And now you're telling me he can't win with this stacked Phoenix Suns team? But we're supposed to talk as if he's in the same stratosphere as LeBron James? Skip Bayless walks around saying Kevin Durant's the best player in the world and he's better than LeBron James? If he's as good as you're telling me he is, he's not able to win an NBA Finals with the Phoenix Suns? Could you imagine if LeBron had Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton? We would automatically we would say, LeBron, you gotta win a championship. Even though LeBron's 4 years older than Kevin Durant, we would put so much pressure on him because that's just too good of a roster to fail. And if Kevin Durant can't deliver with this roster, we look at him completely different. Because LeBron with this roster wins a championship. Giannis Antetokounmpo with this roster wins a championship. Giannis didn't need a super team to win. Giannis didn't go to another team to win. There was a moment where Giannis could have signed with the Golden State Warriors. In 2020, he didn't. He stayed. And it paid off. People are telling me Kevin Durant's better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kevin Durant's the same stratosphere as LeBron James. Kevin Durant's fighting with people on Twitter talking about he's a god. They don't know basketball. He's so much better than them. And you're telling me Kevin Durant can't win with this Phoenix Suns team? That's the amount of pressure that's on him right now. It's too good to not win. Your legacy's on the line. If he's not able to win with the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion, the 2 championships that he has look even worse. Because it highlights you really did need Stephen Curry to win. Why? Because you had opportunities with other amazing guards, other amazing superstars, other amazing all-stars. You still couldn't win. You really needed Stephen Curry to win. And the notion that Kevin Durant doesn't know how to win anything without the Golden State Warriors would tarnish his legacy forever. And we would look back on that decision that Kevin Durant made in 2016 to go to the Golden State Warriors. We would look back on it very differently. And even though there's stiff competition in the Western Conference in the form of the Denver Nuggets, the Memphis Grizzlies, and then in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't think that's a valid excuse to let the Phoenix Suns off the hook. I think it's not okay to make the finals. You have to win. Why? Because the Phoenix Suns have the best starting 5 in the league. They have to deliver. If Kevin Durant's as good as people have been telling me for the past 10 years, Kevin Durant has to win this championship this year. Guys, if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, kids.